Sylvie of the multiple award-winning The Queen Sylvie Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Sylvie or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
Are you tired of driving around a dirty car? Say hello to the ultimate solution for your car. Quick Auto Detail, home, work, or wherever. Their mobile car spa will clean and shine your car anytime and anywhere. Their products are gentle on your car's paint, and they use only the highest quality materials. Book your appointment now.
Can I borrow a quarter? I can pay you back.
What it feels like.
Hey, bitch! Where's my money? You better not be holding out on person.
No, I don't have very much money. I mean, a few quarters.
Oh, I ain't trying to hear that. You know something? I'm gonna get paid one way or the other.
No, please don't hurt me.
Turn
Please
it around.
I don't have
I
any
said
money.
turn it around.
What it is.
6, please.
What it feels like.
Hurry up, bitch! Press 6! Damn, if you make me late for what, I'm gonna throw these hot nachos on you. But you know I will kill you? I ain't messing with you. Who you messing with? Go on and press 6. I'm not playing
It's a well-known fact that white people are afraid of black people. But now there's hope with Negrosol. It's an anti-anxiety drug that can alleviate most, if not all, of the crippling fears that often occur when in the presence of unfamiliar black people. Here's how it works. You just take 1 capsule a day, and a time-release dosage of Negrosol suppresses the section of the brain that retains negative images and information that you may have about black people. Like the O.J. Simpson trial, UPN's The Parkers, or the Source Awards. Negrosol will give you the freedom to live your life without fear. So that what it is will be more like
What it is.
Thanks, Negrosol. I'm not afraid anymore.
side effects may include dry mouth and fear.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
Let's rock. Hey, how's everybody doing on this terrific hump day? And thank you for dropping in and spending another Wednesday with me on Tim's Tidbits. I really do appreciate it. I hope you had a super great weekend. It's been pretty decent all around the country, except it seems that we're going to have a hurricane coming up along the coast here and causing some havoc into the panhandle of Florida. So, hey, thoughts, hearts, and prayers going out to these people that are living down there. Louisiana and the Panhandle area, so hopefully everything turns out okay. See if that hurricane, what is it, Helena, something like that, takes a turn and goes across and does anything in Georgia or anything like that. Hopefully not. Hopefully it just burns itself out. Nothing happens. Everybody stays safe. Otherwise, hey, there's still things going out everywhere, from coast to coast, sea to sea, everywhere. Up Ukraine and Russia are still at each other's throats. It seems that Russia just doesn't appreciate Ukraine now launching bombs into their territory. It was okay while it was across the street, but anyhow, hey, there's still things going on and happening in North Korea, South Korea, with China and Taiwan. And hey, just keep your eye on everything, people. I mean, we even have things happening here in Springfield, Ohio, and yeah, over in Pennsylvania. We'll get into that a little bit. Even stuff being ugly rumors and lies being perpetuated by people here to cause havoc and trouble. This seems to be the way it is. But as the Queen and I always say on every other show, faith over fear, people. You will get through this. Anyhow, obviously the big headline from over the weekend was P. Diddy getting picked up and thrown into the slammer, and apparently he's in a not-so-nice facility in the New York area. But in any regards, I think if it was about, has it been a year that Cat Williams was on Shannon Sharp's show? Something like that. I guess it was about a year ago. Maybe it hasn't been quite a year. But in any regards, and he said that all that was going to be shaken down. He said there's going to be a lot of hell to pay, and a lot of people are going to be under the microscope. And he definitely called out, P. Diddy. And anyhow, hey, everybody has a story, now it's going to be, surviving Diddy, and how many people, sex slaves, these parties, these trenches, what did they call them, freak-offs or something that he would have, and anyhow, hey, let's take a look at this one little video that gives it Justin Bieber's side of the story, maybe.
Everybody, calm down. I got the hottest, young, sensual piece of white chocolate right here.
I want to taste of some white chocolate.
Whoa there, Mr. Diddy. Take that. Now we know we're gonna have a grand pizza party tonight, right? Oh, it's a pizza party? Where's the pizza?
Nigga, you the pizza. It's you, nigga.
Mom? Dad? Mom and Dad? Mom and Dad left you here with me. Welcome to Diddy's Flavor Can.
Oh, flick that hair again. Flick it again.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, when you think about bringing up my lows just a little bit
Yo,
more.
Justin, where you been? Justin, it's me. It's Diddy.
I ain't see you in a while. You avoiding me? Hey, Mr. Diddy. Why we ain't partying like we used to? You coming tonight, right? Yeah, no, I still like to party with you, but I can't come tonight, though. I said you coming tonight, right? No, look, I can't be there tonight, though. I can't. You gonna be there, right? Last time we partied, Mr. Diddy, it was very hard on me. Like, really hard on me. Like, super hard. Look at me. I said you gonna be there, right? Okay, Mr. Diddy, I'll be there. That's real good. It's gonna be a good party tonight, Justin. Great party. You know what kind of party it's gonna be, right? Freak off. It was at that time that I knew if I didn't do something, it was gonna keep happening to me.
So, what did you do, Justin?
I started bringing my own pizza and birthday cake to the parties, even if it wasn't his birthday.
Why was that?
Because I knew for all of them, especially him, it was so yummy. Yummy, 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 yummy. It would be so yummy, yummy,
Justin.
yummy, yummy, yummy,
Justin.
yummy, yummy.
Justin. So by birthday cake and pizza, what are we really referring to here?
You saw the videos. You know what we're talking about here. You're gonna get me in trouble. You know what? Get this mic off me. Turn off those cameras. I'm done with this interview.
Yeah, it should be real interesting. That was obviously not the real deal, but there's all kinds of people jumping ship. I can't remember how many they said was on his different Twitter accounts, social media accounts, what have you. Jumping ship, gone, or just closed down their accounts completely. I can't remember. There was a couple of celebrities associated with Diddy and some of this garbage and just closed down their social media account. Boom, done. I don't have anything to do with these freak-offs or whatever the hell they call that shit. But, oh, Diddy. Like I said, hey, if you want to catch up on some of the real dirt, hey, check out also that, like I said, Cat Williams, when he was on there with Shannon Sharp, besides that, that whole interview is just funnier than hell. So take the time to watch. Keep yourself up on some of these different rumors. Sometimes you might think somebody's full of shit. Maybe they're not so full of shit. Anyhow, hey, speaking of people that are full of shit, that's these people are going to get themselves caught up. Back when they was doing the, when the COVID hit and they started doing that pandemic relief money, to help out businesses so they could help support and pay their staff, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, there was a restaurant owner in San Diego, California, in the North Park area that he took advantage of it to the degree of about, what did they say, $2.5 million?
A former North Park restaurant owner has been convicted of a $1.7 million COVID fraud scheme.
Streetcar merchants closed down some time ago, but prosecutors say the owner lied about his earnings to the IRS and to qualify for COVID relief funds. NBC7's Jackie Crea explains how that scheme worked.
Well, one of the employees of the new restaurant, which is completely different ownership, not connected to streetcar merchants at all, so we won't name them, they say they knew something was wrong when they took over the space because there was shoddy work. They also were receiving overdue bills when they took over about 6 months ago. Prosecutors also say the restaurant majority owner of streetcar merchants, Laurent Sewell, hid $2.4 million in cash and shoeboxes in his bedroom. You can see this picture here, trying to evade the IRS. Federal jury convicted him of wire fraud, conspiracy, and tax crimes for falsifying information on COVID relief program applications. Prosecutors say Sewell and his co-owner stole the COVID relief money, using it to buy a house and other personal expenses, as well as failing to report $1.7 million in revenue to the IRS. His co-owner was also indicted. Now, the restaurant still has a Yelp page up with 1,500 reviews, plenty of photos, a 3.4-star rating. Now, prosecutors say Sewell had been evading personal and business taxes for at least a decade. He did agree after his conviction to forfeit $1.4 million of that stolen pandemic relief funding. He is due back in court in December. In North Park, Jackie Crea, NBC7.
Court records show that his co-owner died in 2023. He faces a possible 74 years in prison and could have to pay $2.5 million.
Yeah, I was doing the math there. I'm like, wait a minute, because they found like $2.4 million, and then he's owed them back like $1.7 million. Like, yeah, it still seemed to me like he was making out ahead of everything. And so now, yeah, we'll see 75 years in prison, though. My God, they're giving him. Well, that's how they got some of these mobsters back. That's how they got Capone, wasn't it? It was on income tax evasion. It wasn't on anything else. So, watch your taxes, fellas. You're going to get caught. Remember, there was a lot of people scamming like it was going out of style with that pandemic relief money that where you could pay. They were coming up with false businesses, all kinds of shit like that. One of these days, it's all going to catch up with you because it had to be associated with your Social Security number, and it's kind of hard to evade that. So, hey, I sure hope you weren't involved in that. Yeah. But, yeah, at least they're going to make him pay $2.5 million back and could be looking at 75 years in jail. May as well just figure you're never going to be getting the hell out of jail, right? Anyhow, hey, let's move on. And let's call this little part Mr. Fix-It. And who is Mr. Fix-It? Obviously, that's former President Trump, who was out on the campaign trail, bragging about, number one, still how he was responsible for stacking the Supreme Court so that we had the ability to overturn Roe v. Wade. And now we put the abortions back into the states, right? Well, you see how well that's working out. There's a lot of states that were not at all prepared for that, and or they had that was a 55-year-old law, right? So they had laws on the books that they had to revert back to. Those 55 years old that absolutely we're probably not the same viewpoints, philosophies, what have yous, as the residents of that state and or the people that are representing that state in their House and Congress in that local state. But in any regards, now he's talking about, let's get rid of the Board of Education, National Board of Education, and let's throw education back into the states. You see how well frickin' overturning Roe v. Wade went, right? They weren't prepared for that. Now you're talking about let's overturn what should be taught and how should it be taught and throw it back into the states who could be. How old is this shit? I mean, I have no idea. 55, 60 years old also. And you're going to have that kind of philosophy. What are you going to teach? Especially when you get into some of these states that may be, let's say, more conservative, that they don't want to teach some of the actual facts about the United States. We can dove into that. But hey, check it out and let's watch this video on Mr. Fix-It. And besides fixing the school issues, he's also going to make life a paradise for the women living in the United States.
That's what we are. We want to have strong borders, great education, school choice. Does everybody like school choice? We want to move the Department of Education. We're ranked at the bottom of the list, the worst. We spend more money per pupil than any other country by far. And yet we're at the bottom of the list. Out of 40, we're ranked about number 40. And I'm going to close the Department of Education and move education back to the states. And we're going to do it fast. All right, so we have to talk business. I always thought women liked me. I never thought I had a problem. But the fake news keeps saying women don't like me. I don't believe it. I think, you know why? They like to have strong borders. They like to have safety. Nothing personal. I think they like me. But I make this statement. Thank you. I love you too. I love you too. Thank you. But I think they like me because I represent something that's very important. I make this statement to the great women of our country. Sadly, women are poorer than they were 4 years ago, much poorer, are less healthy than they were 4 years ago, are less safe on the streets than they were 4 years ago, are paying much higher prices for groceries and everything else than they were 4 years ago, are more stressed and depressed and unhappy than they were 4 years ago, and are less optimistic and confident in the future than they were 4 years ago. I believe that. I will fix all of that and fast, and at long last, this nation and national nightmare will end. It will end. We've got to end this national nightmare. Because I am your protector. I want to be your protector. As president, I have to be your protector. I hope you don't make too much of it. I hope the fake news doesn't go, oh, he wants to be their protector. Well, I am. As president, I have to be your protector. I will make you safe at the border, on the sidewalks of your now violent cities, in the suburbs where you are under migrant criminal siege, and with our military protecting you from foreign enemies, of which we have many today because of the incompetent leadership that we have. You will no longer be abandoned, lonely, or scared. You will no longer be in danger. You're not going to be in danger any longer. You will no longer have anxiety from all of the problems our country has today. You will be protected, and I will be your protector. Women, women will be happy, healthy, confident, and free. You will no longer be thinking about abortion. That's all they talk about, abortion, because we've done something that nobody else could have done. It is now where it always had to be, with the states and a vote of the people.
With the states and the votes of the people. We discussed how frickin' well that went, right? 55-year-old law send it back to the states. And I did take a quick look up about the Department of Education. It was founded October 17th, 1979 by President James Carter. So there's some history, and he wants to kick that one back too. So think of that what you may. Think of that what you may. I think it's a horrible, horrible idea. And you heard him again roll some rhetoric about the immigrant invasion is taking over America. They're taking black jobs. They're taking Hispanic jobs. This immigrant terrorist migration is just killing us. Or is it? Maybe it's your rhetoric when you talk about Springfield, Ohio, and now look what happens. They end up with bomb threats, having to shut down school a couple of days because of and the government has a tough time running. They have to call in extra police and National Guardsmen to help protect the city because of the rhetoric that you spew. And not only do you do that, well, let's create another town in Pennsylvania that spews some immigrant rhetoric about.
Another city with a growing Haitian population on edge after more inaccurate claims from former President Trump.
Charleroi has experienced a 2,000% increase in the population of Haitian migrants under Kamala Harris. The schools are scrambling to hire translators for the influx of students, and the town is virtually bankrupt.
Here in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, just like in Springfield, Ohio, local Republicans say Haitians have been an asset to the community.
The Haitian immigrants here have a very good reputation. Problem is that the federal government dumped these people in and aren't providing any resources.
In recent years, many came legally to Charleroi to work at the local meat processing facility, like Pierre Richard Montplaisir. Do you think that what former President Trump is saying is true, that Haitians are having a negative impact here?
No. When I came here like 4 years ago, so the town was a ghost town. And now we got a group of people that are working and paying tax.
Montplaisir also works as an interpreter for the school system. 5 years ago, 12 students were learning English as non-native speakers. This year, that number is 225.
We believe now diversity is our superpower.
But Superintendent Ed Zelich says the state has provided additional funding.
We're not struggling. Are there more things we would like to have? Absolutely. But I think any school district wouldn't be able to say that.
Misty Cassidy disagrees.
There's just so many people, and there's just not enough resources. There's not enough jobs. There's not enough homes.
She's glad Trump, who she supports, has been calling attention to Charleroi and Springfield.
People need to know that it's just not Springfield. This is coming to a town near you.
What is coming to a town near you?
Haitians or immigrants that have poured over the border within the last couple of years.
Why is that a bad thing, given the fact that some would say the United States is a nation of immigrants?
They're not coming here to assimilate with us. They're coming here to take over, it seems.
But Montplaisir says Trump's comments are harmful. How worried are you that what happened in Springfield with the threats and the harassment that Haitian immigrants, that they might happen here?
Yes, that's why they are afraid about it. That's why some of them want to leave the town.
Yamichelle Sendor, NBC News, Charleroi, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, right. I mean, and I think I talked on, it was last week's show because 2 weeks ago, it's hard to keep up with all this crap that Donald starts about these particular towns. But in Springfield, Ohio, 2 weeks ago, he had made that comment. And then last week, I showed you a video of the Proud Boys showing up and marching through Springfield, Ohio for whatever frickin' particular reason they don't like Haitians. So now, I have no idea. But now you have Charlotte, Pennsylvania, where Trump spewed out that false number. What did he say? A 2,000% increase? Come on, that's ridiculous. And I did a quick math and I said, well, let's look at that as far as what this guy just said about teaching English to the kids in the school. And he said that it went from a classroom of 12 to a classroom of 225, which is basically 200%, right? So, yeah, a little bit more. So, yeah, come on. And that woman that, they're immigrants coming to do what? Take out the manual labor that nobody else wants to do? Who do you think's working on the side of these roads and these bridges? Who do you think was working on the bridge collapse in Pennsylvania? That was immigrants. So anyhow, yeah. So let's make some attacks on Ohio, and let's make some attacks on Pennsylvania, and let's see how well you do in this upcoming election, because both of those are some very important states when it comes up to the upcoming election. And the upcoming election is going to obviously be close, because you really never know. It's not necessarily always the person that wins the popular vote that's going to win the actual presidency. And that's been proven a couple times, I think over the past 10 or past 20 years maybe, that you've seen not necessarily that the person who wins the popular vote wins the presidency. It all comes down to who wins the Electoral College. The Electoral College was meant to give some of these smaller states a bit of a voice in what goes on within the United States. Maybe they gave them a little bit too much latitude. Maybe it is not really truly a representation of how people are voting. Maybe we should take another serious, considerate look at how do you revert back to electing the president by who wins the popular vote. Check this out.
To understand how the Electoral College works, we first need to go back to when the system was created, during the Constitutional Convention of 1787, and the compromise they made for how to elect a president. Some were worried about the public choosing a leader, believing everyday citizens were uninformed about political issues. Others wanted to make sure Congress didn't pick the president either, to keep those branches of government separate. So they came up with a system of electors appointed by each state, independent from both people and politicians who cast their votes instead. Each state's share of electors is determined by its number of seats in the House and Senate, and since states' House seats are based off population, so are the electoral votes it gets. That's where slavery played a role when the system was developed. See, the South had a larger population than the North, but a smaller share of voters because slaves couldn't vote. But the South wanted more political power, so they came up with the 3/5 compromise. Slaves were counted as 3/5 of a person in population counts, which gave Southern states more electoral votes. Fast forward now to today, where we still use the Electoral College, of course, to pick a president. There are 538 electors across the country. A candidate has to get at least 270 of them to win the presidency. So why does our vote matter if electors are the ones picking the president? Well, most states, except for Nebraska and Maine, have laws requiring that all of their electors vote for the candidate who wins the state's popular vote. That means even if a candidate wins a state by just 51%, all that state's electoral votes will go toward that candidate. This kind of winner-take-all method means that the national popular vote can be different from the Electoral College vote, which has happened 5 times through history. Notably in 2016, when Hillary Clinton won almost 3 million more votes than Donald Trump nationally, but lost the Electoral College. And in 2000, when Al Gore won the popular vote, but lost the presidency to George W. Bush. Recently, 15 states and the District of Columbia joined the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. They're pledging to give their electoral votes to the candidate who wins the national popular vote, rather than the person who wins the popular vote in their state. But this won't take effect until enough states adopt it, which so far hasn't happened.
So the National Popular Vote Interstate Contract. So that would be basically all states agreeing that not a winner take all. If we have 10 million votes in the state and 6 million go to candidate A, that's how it works, and 4 million go to candidate B, or however it may be spewed out. And the winner, and once it's totaled out, the popular vote wins instead of the electoral. It's kind of crazy that there's a couple of, well, I can't remember what those two states were now, just eluded me. Nebraska was one of them where I could just, or Maine and Nebraska, just, well, even though Joe may have won the election, I can still say that Bob gets all the electorals. That's the Electoral College. I don't understand that one iota, but hey, not for me to understand. It is just for me to try to show as much as I can to inform you what's happening. And I think we said something a little bit about 10 minutes ago about the SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States. And when Donald stacked them up and he ended up getting Roe v. Wade overturned, there was another objective, and you can see it also coming up, and this is all part of what Donald has planned. And you'll also catch it in your Project 2025. I'm telling you, check out this Project 25 and think about where this is all heading. And that is when the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron deference. And you say, what the heck is a Chevron deference? Well, you need to watch this so that you understand why we're starting to lose control of manufacturing and what's going on to our environment and so on and so forth.
The Supreme Court starts its new term in a couple of weeks, but a decision from the last session is already making its way through the lower courts in more than 110 cases affecting all aspects of American life, including reproductive rights, airline fees, protections against healthcare discrimination, and background checks for guns. You may have missed this ruling because it came out the day after the Trump-Biden debate in June. Here's what's up. In Loper Bright versus Raimondo, the court overturned a 40-year-old doctrine known as Chevron deference, which has been cited in over 18,000 cases. The Chevron decision made it so that judges gave deference to the federal agencies that regulate industries, like the EPA or the FTC, when it came to interpreting laws when Congress hadn't clearly defined the scopes of the agency's powers, as long as the agency's decisions were reasonable. SCOTUS did that in 1984, because typically, agencies have a lot more expertise in their subject areas than judges do. Justice Elena Kagan wrote in her dissent that given Chevron's pervasiveness, the decision to do away with the doctrine is likely to produce large-scale disruption in the courts and the agencies that are charged with keeping Americans safe from harmful chemicals, financial scams, and more. Months later, we're already seeing that disruption, and experts say that this is only the beginning. In this case, a federal court in Texas issued a preliminary injunction on a new rule by the Department of Labor that expanded who qualifies for overtime pay. The injunction temporarily blocks the rule from being enforced against the state of Texas as an employer. Texas challenged the rule, citing Loper Bright, and arguing that the DOL exceeded the authority granted by Congress in the Fair Labor Standards Act. The judge said that a final ruling would come in a matter of months. Read our full story at the link in bio, because there's a lot more.
So yeah, that has a lot to do, especially let's roll back a couple of shows also to where we were talking about why we are having such an issue with the food quality. That's because they're rolling back and never have reinforced since the pandemic the quality control checks at these manufacturing plants. Why do you think these deli meats are getting recalled like Boar's Head? How the hell has that ever happened in the past? That's because you don't have FDA inspectors in there because they're rolling all this crap back because of the Chevron difference. Again, a 40-year-old decision that, the new Supreme Court decided to roll back, just like education, just like, obviously, control over that would be over oil, over coal, even that kind of stuff, right? Roll back to schools, abortion, women's health care. It's all in Project 2025, folks. Read it. They can deny it, but I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. You know how they're running that playbook, and you can follow right along with it. As much as you want to try to say that, no, that's not the case, I'm afraid. Yeah, it seems to be the case, unfortunately. And I'm not a conspiracist, but my God, it's black and white. Anyhow, speaking of black and white, and what's really kind of sad is I remember growing up, and maybe some of you also do too, is when you walked into the store, and especially if it came around a certain time of the year when they had the blue light special. And that's right, we're talking about Kmart. And guess what? Kmart is now finally closed its last store.
You know, what was once the destination for bargain shoppers is now closing its last full-size store in the mainland U.S. We're talking about Kmart, closing its shop in Bridgehampton on Long Island. It'll close it on October the 20th. Once king of the layaway wars, right? This most recent closing marks the end of what was a disastrous 2005 merger with Sears. At Kmart's peak in 1994, there were close to 2,500 stores in this country with roughly 350,000 employees. This was huge, Kmart, right? That number plummeted to just 370 in 2018 and just 11 once the location on Long Island closes. The chain still operates a very small convenience store version of itself in Miami. It also has smaller locations in Guam and the U.S. Virgin Islands where there is limited competition. And what won't we be hearing anymore?
Our blue light special.
Oh, the blue light special. Or pick up in aisle 17 or whatever.
I think we're showing our age.
Yeah, you're showing your age. The blue light special in aisle 17. Attention Kmart shoppers. We are having a blue light special in aisle 17. It'll be lasting for the next 15 minutes. Get over to aisle 17 for your blue light special. Anyhow, hey, well, let's move on and to one of my favorite parts of the show. We're starting to wind this up, and this is a part of the show that I like to call, Dude, Really, What the Fuck? And hey, let me get back to this. Sometimes your kid, and we're all proud of our children, my God, we're all proud of our kids, and especially when they start going to school and they start coming home with the art projects, right? You're like, oh, honey, that is just such a great picture. What is it? But in any regards, this young gentleman was so proud of his artwork, and he brought it and showed it to Dad. And I guess it's a rendition of a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
This kid did a drawing of a KFC popcorn chicken bucket and was so excited to show his dad.
So if you pull this, that comes out. You just have to fold it, and then you have to make it go like
Open
that. Then, woo.
Wow. You gotta see that one more time, don't you?
This kid did a drawing of a KFC popcorn chicken bucket and was so excited to show his dad.
So if you pull this, that comes out. You just have to fold it, and then you have to make it go like
Open
that. Then, woo.
No wonder the teacher sent that project home with him. They wouldn't put it up on the bulletin board at school for show and tell. Hey, any regards. Oh, hey, let's move on to the other part of the program that I know a lot of you look forward to, and that is our Asshole of the Week. And, you know, very seldom, and this guy made it last week with some rhetoric. I think if you remember me talking about the sheriff down in Portage County, Ohio, who told his deputies to go around and write down all the names and addresses of anyone who has a Harris Waltz sign in their yard, so that he would know where to send the immigrants when they are done invading America, right? Well, in any regard, this moron has got himself into the news again. And you know what? This time he really does deserve the asshole, because not only does he abuse his authority, it's illegal.
New allegations tonight that a local sheriff used county inmates for his re-election campaign events. The state is now looking into this, but a jail administrator, well, they denied the claims. Caitlin McCarthy spoke with one of the former inmates who says they worked during campaign events for that sheriff.
We just set up this entire fundraiser
but it wasn't community work. It was specifically, strictly just for him to get reelected. It was his reelection fundraiser.
Christopher McCullough is talking about campaign work he says he did for Portage County Sheriff Bruce Zukowski. McCullough was incarcerated for 3 months last year. He says this happened twice, once at the sheriff's steak dinner and then at the Portage County Fair.
It was me and about 3 other guys. We would go in and we set up all of the tents. We set up the grills with fresh propane. We brought out all their steaks, potatoes, all their food to cook for everybody. We filled up their coolers with drinks and ice.
This is a picture McCullough says is of him and another inmate doing work for Zukowski's reelection. He says he was compensated with $3 a week in cigarettes. McCullough feared retaliation from the sheriff if he said no.
Never once did they ever inform us that we were doing any sort of work for the sheriff.
A former Ohio judge tells 19 News, according to Ohio Revised Code, elected officials cannot use inmates for campaign-related activities. We sat down with Sergeant Sonny Jones. He is the assistant jail administrator.
What's your response to those allegations?
I would say that would be false. I've worked the steak out. I think they've called it a couple of times, or the steak roast for the sheriff. And there's never inmates at the stakeout.
McCullough's attorney tells 19 News this letter detailing the allegations was filed with the Ohio Civil Rights Commission, the Attorney General, and Secretary of State. A spokesperson for the Secretary of State says in a statement, "I can confirm that our office received information on this matter within the past week and it's being reviewed. We don't comment on pending or active investigations. Our office takes the enforcement of Ohio's election laws seriously and will pursue prosecution of offenses where it's warranted." The Ohio Attorney General also says they are looking into this. McCullough, who now feels safe speaking out, hopes by sharing his story this won't happen to other inmates.
You can't use inmates for your own personal gain.
When we stopped by the sheriff's office today, we requested a comment from Sheriff Zukowski. We were told he was unavailable. But
Well, hell no, he's not available. What, are you crazy? Hell no. Hell no, he's not available. But, yeah, being involved in government politics before, yeah, you don't do things like that. That's, you feel pressured enough as an employee in that particular department, depending upon different affiliations. But what you are, semi-obligated to do in support of your elected official. But in any regard, hey, that is it. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you take a look at this Portage County Sheriff who is now banned from overlooking and overseeing, apparently, the election. He can't be around the election areas where the voting precincts and shit now. They got him. That happened, too. So, yeah, he's got himself in all kinds of interesting news. Maybe the kind of news, hey, sometimes some people think, bad news is all good news as long as it keeps me in the news. I don't know what the hell to think about that. But let's get the heck on out of here, and I super, super, super appreciate you spending the Wednesday with me, and until next week, hey, man, peace out and enjoy this little first look at an up-and-coming Superman movie. Bye. Peace out. Bye.
From a doomed planet in a distant galaxy, to the fortress of solitude, to the bustling city, the Daily Planet. Welcome this sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's stupid man.
My name is John Miller with Trump News. You guys report fake news like a lot of it. So is it a bird or is it like a plane? Because if it's a bird and it flies into a windmill, it's toast. A lot of people don't know that. I know a lot about birds. Someone tell the story. I'm using X-ray vision. When you're a star, they let you. So the Fortress of Solitude is one of the most luxurious properties in the world. They say it's #1. Maybe that's true. It's got a lot of solitude, maybe too much solitude, if you know what I mean. So when you say faster than a locomotive, what do you mean? Do you mean like the locomotive is over here and this guy over here is getting to where he's going before the locomotive? Because I am not so sure that's going to happen. Plus, the locomotive has a very big battery. Trust me, I know it. They make it in China.